Members of the Roanoke Chapter of the NAACP plan to protest Congressman Bob Goodlatte on Monday. They say they want him to hold a judicial review and restore the Voting Rights Act of 1965. WSLS 10's Duke Carter is here in studio. Now, Duke, why are members asking Congressman Goodlatte to restore the Voting Rights Act?
Good evening, Bree. The president of the NAACP says the Supreme Court struck down a key component of the Voting Rights Act. The president says 9 states, including Virginia, can change election laws without federal approval. And she says that can open a door to discrimination for those who want to exercise the right to vote. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 made it easier for minorities to vote.
To be able to vote is very important to me, and to all of us it should be, because it's a right.
But in 2013, the Supreme Court voted 5-4 and said a portion of the act was unconstitutional. Now, 9 states, including Virginia, can change election laws without oversight from the federal government, like moving polling places, which is why some are wanting to restore the Voting Rights Act.
I think it needs to be restored for our civic duty. It's an American right for us to vote.
However, the High Court decided to allow Congress to come up with the law to make the Voting Rights Act constitutional, which is why the Roanoke Chapter president of the NAACP, Brenda Hill, is asking Bob Goodlatte to step in because he's in charge of Congress holding a review.
Bob Goodlatte, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, will not call a hearing. That is why we are still on this mission.
A mission to make sure minorities' voices are heard. Hale says the hearing would allow individuals from across the United States to speak about the Voting Rights Act. And her goal is to make sure minorities' right to vote is still protected.
Oh, if you take away number 1, shut down their polling sites, then make it hard for them to get an ID, make it hard for them to try to go vote. That is an injustice.
With the upcoming presidential election coming up later this year, the right to vote, she says, is vital.
We need to protect them and the future generations to come. That's why we're on this mission, and we will not stop until his conscience gets touched and he calls the hearing.
Now, we reached out to Congressman Bob Goodlatte's office to see if he would hold a meeting, and we have not yet heard back. Meanwhile, this is the 51st anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, and that was this past Saturday. Meanwhile, the NAACP will protest in front of his Roanoke's office tomorrow at 10.